I love my job because we're saving lives. And I work for a president who wants to save lives. I work for a president committed to make this country safe again, and that's exactly what we're doing. You want to hate on me? Hate on me. I eat it up. Because I know what I'm doing. And if anybody in the media or anybody that doesn't support this president and his mission, wear my shoes for 35 years and see the tragedies I've seen. I'm sick of it. Lakin Riley, God bless her, listen to 17 minutes of that young lady. 17 minutes fighting for her life. She didn't want to die. That young girl fought for life. Can you imagine? And why don't you put she just didn't die. I want you to think about something. Put your daughter in her shoes, or your sister, or your mother. Think how terrified her last minutes of life were like while she's suffering, fighting just to survive. Lakin Riley's one out of many. I've met hundreds of angels of moms and dads who buried their children. You know, I always hear all the time, family separation, Homan's the godfather, family separation. Let me be clear. Zero tolerance is about saving lives. Because we figure we start prosecuting people who violate the law and put the children in harm's way, maybe they stop coming. And they did. Numbers went down. It's unfortunate families got separated. But it happens to American families every day. It's going to happen in Albany today that an American family will be separated by law enforcement because the child can't go to jail with a parent. But you want to talk about family separation? 500,000 children on Joe Biden were trafficked in this country. They can't find 300,000 of them. That's a separation. But you know what President Trump's committed? We're going to find them, and we're going to save them, because many children are in forced labor, many children are in forced sex slavery. We're going to save them. This administration. You want to talk about family separation? Talk to the angel moms and dad who buried their child. My worst nightmare, everybody in this room, your worst nightmare is bury your child. And I've talked to hundreds of angel moms who did that. And finally, I'll say this. I read it this morning. It irritates me every time I read it. Illegal aliens commit less crimes than Americans. Really? Show me the data. I've seen just as many studies push back against that. But let's say that's true. Doesn't matter. Every crime committed by illegal aliens is a preventable crime. None of them are acceptable. One's too many. So I don't want to hear that garbage. Secure border saves lives. President Trump is a great president. He's saving lives every day by locking down this border, by removing public safety threats. He's doing the job he promised Americans. I couldn't be more proud to work for a man that's dedicated to the service of this nation and makes this country safe again. So God bless President Trump. And I want to say one more thing. What a cabinet he put together. Kristi Noem, DHS Secretary. She has done more enforcement actions in her first week as Secretary than Alejandro Mayorkas did in 4 years. She's been out with ICE, she's been out with CBP, she's been out with Coast Guard. God bless Kristi Noem. She's going to do a great job. Kash Patel, great pick for FBI. Pam Bondi, New York State, watch out for Pam Bondi. Yes. Because she's going to take on Sanctuary City. So I'm proud to be a part of this group. Every day I walk in the White House, my head's held high, because I know we're doing the right thing, not just for the United States. We're saving migrant lives, we're saving American lives, and we're making this country safe again. So I couldn't be more proud to work for this administration than the proudest moments of my life. I love my job, and I love New York, and I'll never forget about New York. Good?
All right, questions? New York 1, Bernadette.
Hi, Mr. Homan, Bernadette from New York 1. Question about the pro-Palestinian protester who was arrested. President Trump said that he was distributing pro-Hamas flyers and that he wanted him out of the country. What more can you tell us about any violation of his visa? What crime did he commit? And another follow-up with Mayor Adams, you said that you were going to...
It directly contradicts the United States foreign policy. That's a Secretary of State. That's a charge on the Secretary of State. We consider him a national security threat. When you're on campus and they say, and I hear freedom of speech, freedom of speech, freedom of speech. Can you stand in a movie theater and yell fire? Can you slander somebody verbally? Free speech has limitations, but when you go to a college campus, you incite protesting and locking down and taking over buildings and damaging property and handing out leaflets for Hamas, who is a terrorist organization. Coming to this country either on a visa or becoming a resident alien is a great privilege, but there are rules associated with that. You might be able to get away with that stuff in the last administration, but you won't under this administration. We're meeting again this week.
New York Post, Vaughn.
Sir, you mentioned the green light law, the executive order in place that governs a lot of the state's sanctuary policies. Both of those things were put into place by former Governor Cuomo, of course, running for New York City mayor. Does the former governor have any place in New York politics, in your opinion, given these things?
If he supports sanctuary laws, no. I don't think so. Every elected, it made me clear, every elected official should want to do everything they can legally to make sure public safety threats are removed from the community. If he doesn't support that, I don't support him. I mean, it's just, there's no excuse for someone being in the country legally to commit a crime and not being handed over to ICE. I don't understand it. It's just, they're here in violation of law. That's not okay, first of all. And a lot of people are looking at it, they're just not criminals. Let's get back to members of Congress educating people. They're educating people who enter the country legally, which is a crime, got convicted of a serious offense, and were ordered removed by a federal judge after due process. Who doesn't think they should be removed, for God's sakes? We're a system of laws. We need to follow law.
What other measures are you planning to implement to get Hochul to follow federal immigration policy? Are there other things you might be expecting?
We're going to do our job despite this administration. We're going to go arrest public safety threats. We're going to go arrest national security threats. We'll double the man force here if we have to. Because rather than one officer arresting a bad guy in the jail, one officer arresting one bad guy, now I got to send a whole team because of officer safety concerns, community safety concerns to go look for this guy. Very inefficient, especially looking for people that want to be found. Which means what? It means we send more officers to New York to get the job done.
When it comes to fentanyl crossing the border, we've seen a relatively small amount coming in from Canada. At the same time, the president is talking about using tariffs against the Canadians to get concessions from them on border security and reducing fentanyl coming into the country. What are you doing specific to drug enforcement along the border, and what would you like to see considering how low the numbers are already?
Well, it's just not about fentanyl, too. It's about immigration. There's other things to consider. I'm working with members of Canada. I've met with them twice. I'm meeting with them again next week. We're working on it. Mexico, Canada's willing to come to the table and do some things. The president doesn't think they're doing enough. And I think the president has proven over and over again his negotiation skills are unmatched. And I think he's going to get exactly what he wants. We'll have the most secure northern border in the history of this nation because of President Trump's negotiation with the country of Mexico.
Mr. Homan, do you expect, or are ICE removal operations right now off limits in shelters across the state, or do you expect that to change over time? And also, what do you, you've sort of spoken to this a little bit, but what do you make of, the city's policy of requiring a judicial warrant for ICE to go into certain locations? Is that obstructive?
No, it isn't. It's terrible policy. And as far as the sense of location policy, we had our own sense of location policy, and we did away with it. I'm glad you brought that up because people are saying, "Oh, ICE is going to raid schools. ICE is going to raid churches." It's just such crap. We're not going to raid churches. We're not going to raid schools. Well, however, we're going to be like every other state and local and federal law enforcement agencies. If there's an MS-13 gang member who's going to high school and he's wanted for serious public safety violations, we're going to go in that school and arrest that MS-13 member if we know he's there. He's there right now. He's a public safety threat. We have a warrant. Let's go get him. We know where he's at so he doesn't get away. So it's not about raiding schools. It's not about raiding churches, but the left's pushing it, trying. We don't have to. No one instills fear in the immigrant community. It's the left, the Democrats. They instill fear. ICE is going to raid schools, and we got kids not going to school because they think their school's going to be raided. It's ridiculous.
What about shelters in the city? Is that an area you guys are staying away from right now, or do you expect to go into those at some point?
We're going to enforce the law no matter where it is.
Specifically with that pro-Palestinian student from Colombia, on his arrest papers, what exactly does it say in terms of the charge?
I'm familiar with that charge. I can just tell you what my discussions have been with it, is that it's a direct violation of our foreign policy objectives. When you hand out leaflets, incite violence on the college campus, that's illegal. Being in this country with a visa or a resident alien card is a privilege, and you got to follow certain rules. Resident aliens get removed all the time when they commit certain crimes. So he's no different, and he's not going to be the only one. Your first question is, look, Pam Bonnie's already filed a lawsuit. If she has to keep filing lawsuits, that's what we're going to do. I'm hoping the voters of New York State see what we're doing. And I'm not asking somebody to vote either way. I can't do that. But I'm saying that I think the voters look at exactly what ICE is doing, who we're arresting. I think President Trump has a lot of support for what he's doing. The majority of Americans believe in removing criminal threats. And I think New York feels the same way. I don't know if your elected politicians do. I know the ones behind me do. But I'm hoping that more and more we educate the American people exactly what we're doing, exactly who we're arresting. I think there's going to be pressure put on New York to do their common sense thing to protect the communities of the state.
So I just want to make sure, just because you're not familiar with what the arrest charges are.
I have not read the arrest report. I've been traveling, but I'm aware of the arrest. I read why he was arrested, and it's justified what happened to him.
You go down the street here in Albany, they're down dozens of police officers. Do you think local law enforcement has the resources to both cooperate with ICE and also conduct public safety for Americans that are committing crimes?
Yes.
Why?
Because they want public safety threats out of their community too, and they're willing to work with feds to make that happen. Every time I go to New York City, I don't think I've ever seen an NYPD officer didn't come shake my hand and thank me for what we're doing. They want to help. These officers, they don't get paid a lot of money, but they want to protect their community, and they know someone's here illegally, and they can help not only remove them from the community, remove them from the country, make the community safer. They're all in. And I don't think it takes a lot of. Rather than arresting the same guy 5 times, arrest him once, give him an ass. You don't arrest him anymore. I think it's going to relieve a lot of officers' time on the streets. And plus, we're talking about, again, I'm not asking immigration officers. I'm talking about let us in your jail to arrest a bad guy in the jail. That way, the PD's not dealing with him anymore when he goes out and recommits. So I think let's put it this way. I've never met a law enforcement officer that came to me and says he does not support the removal of criminal aliens. It makes our community safer, and that's what they're all about. That's why they wear that badge. That's why they took that oath.
Do you think the dismissal of the charges against Adams will make immigration enforcement easier in the city?
It has nothing to do with anything about his. I don't know anything about his criminal investigations on my lane. I truly believe. I sat down with the guy. I saw a career cop in him really concerned about making New York City safer. And I'm going to be clear on this. Not every criminal in New York is an alien. Not every alien's a criminal. Public safety threat. But there's some that are. So I think he shares a feeling with me. If we meet New York safer by removing public safety threats that are in the country illegally, that's less he has to deal with that makes the community safer. Every public safety threat, illegal alien we take out of New York City makes that city more safe.
Last question, Times Union, Dan Clark.
Over here. Hey, Mr. Homan.
Hi.
Thanks for coming here. Just to clarify with the governor, so has there been any communication between you and anybody in her administration? And second,
She hasn't communicated with me.
she hasn't communicated with you, and has your office reached out at all?
No.
And the mayor, you said that you're waiting, you're
Let's be
negotiating.
clear, I'm doing nothing wrong. She is.
Sure. On the signed agreement with the mayor, can you just kind of clarify what you're seeking there, like what it would take to get an agreement, I guess? Are you just seeking like a signed agreement on the Rikers?
No, I want to get, look, the mayor's committed several things. Getting us in Rikers Island and help me find 300,000 children where many are going to be in New York City. Children are in forced labor. Not all of them. Some of these children are going to be with families. It's perfectly fine. But look, I've done this for 40 years. I guarantee you some of these are in forced labor. We've already found some in forced labor. ICE's already had investigation in meatpacking plants and other things. They found these children. We want to save the children. He equally is committed to finding children and the immigration consequences will come later, but right now, many of these children are waking up, living a nightmare every day, and he's equally concerned that we save these children. So he's trying to do the right thing. I really truly believe he wants to make New York City safer, and you make New York City safer when you work with federal law enforcement partners, not lock them out like New York State's done.
Why